So here's something new for everyone holding XRP. For a long time, XRP didn't really have a way to earn a yield. There's no staking built into the ledger. But that's changed. Now XRP has the ability to earn, and the place making that happen is a network called Flare. Here's the part an analyst has to sit with though. That yield doesn't come from XRP itself. It's built off the ledger, and every way of building it brings a risk the coin alone doesn't have. There's a brand new vault on Flare called MXRPY, run by a manager a major trading firm just bought. So here's my read, up front before any of the analysis. Watch this one, but don't size into it yet. I'll show you why and what would change my mind. Quick disclosure, I hold none of this. No XRP, no Flare, nothing in any of these products. This is research, not advice, and there's no price prediction anywhere in here. So let's start with what's genuinely new here. XRP now has the ability to earn, but that yield doesn't come from the ledger itself because there's no staking built in. It has to be created off the ledger. And that one fact is why this whole story exists, because every way of building that yield drags in a risk the plain coin never had. So look at what XRP can actually earn on Flare today. The deepest, plainest market is a lender called Kinetic. You lend your XRP out, and it pays about 1.3%. A staking wrapper called Spectra is around 2.6. So the honest picture is, the safe on-chain yield on XRP sits around 1 to 3%. And anything advertised way above that is either a short-lived bonus, a trading pool that can lose money when prices move, or an off-chain desk quietly taking your counterparty risk. Now Flare has become the real home for this kind of thing. But let me be straight about the size. The total money deposited across Flare's apps is about $153 million, and it's actually shrinking, down around 9% in just the last month. And one honest note, Glassnode, the on-chain data standard, doesn't even track XRP or Flare. So everything here comes straight from DeFi Llama, CoinGecko, and the chain itself. That's the stage. Now let's meet the product that just walked onto it. So MXRPY isn't one company. It's a chain of them, and each link is a place something can go wrong. The manager is a firm called Monarq, and the team is genuinely credentialed. They came out of Wall Street volatility trading and funds like Block Tower. But to be fair, this team traces back to a fund called Ledger Prime, which got pulled into the FTX collapse in 2022. There's no wrongdoing alleged. They were caught up in it and rebuilt on their own. The thing that matters for diligence, though, is that there's no publicly audited track record here. No returns or losing periods you can inspect. And for a verified don't trust lens, that absence is the finding. Now, the plumbing is reassuring. The rails come from a company called Upshift, audited 5 separate times, and non-custodial, meaning no single party can just walk off with the money. The wrapped XRP bridge from Flare is also deeply audited, and when a bug got flagged in February, they paused it, fixed it, and nobody lost a cent. So the rails are solid. But here's where an analyst circles it in red. The firm that provides the collateral for the option strategy is FalconX. And FalconX is also the firm that bought a majority stake in Monarq, the manager, last June. So follow that. The company that owns the manager is the same one sitting underneath the trade, holding the collateral. One parent picks the strategy, helps execute it, and sits right next to the assets. And normally those roles are split across an independent broker and custodian, on purpose, so no single company carries everything. Here, it mostly isn't. And I'm careful here. That's a structure and disclosure point, not an accusation. FalconX is a real, regulated firm, but it concentrates risk, and the exact terms, how the collateral is held, whether it can be reused, just aren't public. Okay, let's follow an actual deposit and answer the only question that matters. Where does the 3 to 4% actually come from? Your XRP gets wrapped into FXRP. That goes into the vault, and the vault splits it across three strategies, what they call sleeves. The first is options. Your XRP backs a trade where they borrow Bitcoin and sell options on a venue called Deribit. The second is a basis trade, and in plain terms, that just means capturing the small price gap between buying now and a futures contract, while staying hedged so it isn't a bet on price. And the third is the simple one, lending FXRP right there on Flare. Now here's the tell, and this is the whole thing. That third sleeve, the safe on-chain one, only pays about 1.3 to 2.6%. So if the on-chain piece alone gets you to maybe 2.5, then to reach a 3 to 4% target after fees, the two off-chain sleeves have to carry the rest. Which means, in plain English, the extra yield is the payment for off-chain risk. It's not a free bonus on top of safe lending. It's compensation for counterparty and venue exposure the on-chain part doesn't have. And one subtlety that's easy to miss. Upshift's promise that nobody can run off with your funds is real, but only while the money's on chain. The moment the options and basis sleeves push capital out to FalconX and Deribit, you've left that protection behind, and you're trusting the venue, not the smart contract. So the yield isn't mysterious. It's just honest about what you're being paid to absorb. So let's talk terms, because they decide how trapped your money is. The vault caps at 500,000 FXRP, and you can only redeem once a week, on Fridays. There's an instant exit, but it costs a fee. And the catch with weekly liquidity is, in a fast sell-off, you could be locked in for up to a week at exactly the moment you'd want out, which, the issuer itself warns, is the same moment these strategies can start moving together instead of offsetting. The fees? Not disclosed. So your take-home yield is genuinely unknown right now. But here's the most useful thing I can show you, because we don't have to guess how this plays out. There's already a near identical vault on the same rails. It's called earnXRP, and it launched 5 months earlier, advertising around 8%. So what does it actually pay today, after deposits flooded in and filled its cap in about a week? Around 3%. 8 on the marketing, 3 in reality. That's yield dilution caught on camera. More money chasing the same trades, so each depositor's slice shrinks. And MXRPY is targeting 3 to 4 on the same plumbing, with no track record of its own. And quietly, fewer than 80 people a day are even depositing across all of Flare's XRP apps. On regulation, let me not overclaim. That big stablecoin law, the Genius Act, bans yield for stablecoin issuers, but on its face, it doesn't reach a managed vault like this. Whether this vault's token counts as a US security, though, the kind of thing the SEC regulates, is genuinely unsettled. It looks a lot like the BlockFi product the SEC called a security back in 2022, but no one has ruled on this one. So, I don't know, and neither does anyone else. And being upfront about that is the point. So let me put it together the way I'd actually score it. 5 dimensions, where 1 is low risk and 5 is high. Technology. I land around a 3. Deeply audited rails, but a multi-layer bridge with off-chain steps. Governance, market, and the team each land around a 3 too. Real pedigrees, but no audited track record. The one that stands out is regulatory, a 4, because the legal structure and even who's allowed to invest aren't disclosed. That averages to about 3.2 out of 5. But the number that matters most isn't the average. It's that related party concentration sitting above all of it. One firm owning the manager and holding the collateral. Now let me steelman both sides. And by that, I mean the strongest, honest version of each, not a straw man. The bull case is real. 3 genuinely different return engines, access to trades a normal holder can't reach, a professional team, deeply audited rails, and a bridge that held its peg through a real scare. The bear case is also real, a modest 3 to 4% that the sibling already diluted to 3. That concentration, a protection that stops at the chain's edge, weekly only exits, and undisclosed fees and track record. And here's what I genuinely could not verify, however I dug: the actual fees, the collateral terms, and any audited performance history. So what would settle it? A published audited track record, including the ugly months like 2020 and 2022, disclosed fees and collateral terms, and a few real weekly cycles where the take-home yield actually beats just lending your XRP on-chain. Until those land, my read stands. Watch it. Don't size it yet. So if you take one thing from this, let it be the frame, not a verdict on the people. Now that XRP can finally earn, every one of those yields is built somewhere off the ledger. And your only real job here is to understand exactly what you're being paid to absorb. With this vault, that's a modest 3 to 4% on the same rails where the last one slid to about 3, while taking on bridge risk, off-chain counterparty risk, and a setup where one firm owns the manager and holds the collateral. That doesn't make it a bad product. It makes it one you watch and verify before you size. I've put every source and chart into a written breakdown linked below so you can check my math yourself. And once more, plainly, I hold none of this. It's research, not advice, no price call. If you want more of this, real numbers, every source on screen, and an honest "here's what I couldn't verify," then subscribe. The full written notes with every link are in the description. So go read them, pull the data yourself, and I'll see you on the next one.